Welcome back to my channel. You already know it's your boy Hood Digital, the Rock Reactor, back with another video. Yes, sir. Before I proceed, let me know where you tapping in from. Let me know what country, what city, what mountain, what hill, what cave, what island, what planet, what universe. Let me know where you at. Represent your hood. Let me throw the heart up for my Ukraine, a world of love to my Ukraine, an abundance of peace to my Ukraine. As I stand with God, I will always stand with Ukraine. That's right. You know, guys, as you get older, I think we all know this. As you get older, your body starts to deteriorate. Your body starts slowing down, your bones, all that. That including your brain. Now, for your body, you need to exercise, try to eat well, to slow down the process as much as possible. It's unstoppable. It's going to happen to all of us, but we can slow it down by doing exercise, try to eat as best as we can, live a active life, try to live an active life, yada, yada, yada. Now, for the brain, you got to keep your brain informed. Try to learn as much as possible. Get as much information as possible, which is what we're doing now. I want to learn as much as possible, especially things I'm interested in. I'm very interested in Ukraine's culture because I'm loving the music so far. I'm loving the creativity with Ukraine. I'm loving the fact that Ukraine is united. As far as I've seen, they're united, they're calculated, they're strategizing. And somebody says something that's right. Somebody said something yesterday that I wanted to bring it out. Somebody said in the comment. You know, guys, yesterday I was at the mall and I was with my wife. My wife was in the bank and she was online. So I was sitting down and I'm reading the comments, and somebody said something from Ukraine that said, sparked up. Like, after I read it, I turned my phone off, and I started thinking, I said, you know, this is right. It said that something about Ukraine is something about the bravest. Damn, I wish I could find it, but he said something about Ukraine is like the bravest country in Europe, or the strongest country in Europe. And it made me think, it's like, you know, he just might be right. I'm trying to look for it. He just might be right because Ukraine is doing something that nobody would think possible. Ukraine is up against the biggest country in the world. And it's holding on and it's giving the fucking Russians hell. And it just made me think like, damn, you know, might be true. We thought maybe the UK is the most powerful country, strongest, but it's all about unity. It's all about unity. It's all about how strong, calculated you are. And unity just makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. Calculation, patriotism has to come in at that point. And damn, I can't find it, but I wish I could find it. But that he said something that really sparked me like, wow, it's true. It's true. But anyway, guys, I'm not gonna be able to find it. But anyway, I wish I could have found it, but it's crazy. Like, he said something that just boom, it woke me up. It's like it slapped me in the face. But anyway, guys, let's get right to it. This is the battle for Odessa. Ukraine's culture war. Let's talk about it, guys. Let me know what this is about. I think somebody did recommend this. That's why I had it on the list. But let's get right to it, guys. And before we do, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the description. Let's get right to it, man. The Battle of Odessa, Ukraine's culture war.
The beautiful Black Sea port city of Odessa is one of the most famous in Ukraine and significant, which is why Russia sought to take it in the first week of the war. It didn't quite go according to plan. And now the Russian Black Sea Fleet has fled with some of its ships scattered across the floor of the Black Sea. But just because the war did not reach the streets of Odessa doesn't mean that it's not all around. It's a place that still faces bombardments. It's a place where there are battle-scarred buildings. But more than that, this is a city that has been profoundly shaped by many wars in its past, including this one. And whilst we're here, we're going to talk to some of the Odessites, the locals, about the internal battles taking place in this pearl of the Black Sea.
Культуре, которая настоящая, надо относиться с уважением.
The country's been invaded. People are dying every day. They don't want to hear Russian music now.
Тем более Пушкин Одессу прославит.
It's our city. Odessa is a part of Ukraine.
Putin's air attacks on Odessa are common. We saw several during our stay, and they've reignited debates about Moscow's ties with this still predominantly Russian-speaking city. One of the historic figures caught in the crosshairs is Alexander Pushkin, Russia's most famous poet of the Romantic era, whose brief, scandal-marked exile in Odessa is said to have fueled his creativity, despite his stinging critiques of the city in some of his writings. Pushkin was divisive here even before the full-scale invasion, but the war has brought his problematic legacy into even sharper focus. When Russian troops occupied Kherson, about 200 kilometers east of Odessa, they erected billboards featuring Pushkin as part of a propaganda campaign proclaiming Russia was here forever. For some, therefore, Pushkin is a symbol of imperialism. But others still don't think he should be erased from Odessa's history. Well, Tatiana, we're standing in front of one of the most controversial statues in this city of Alexander Pushkin. Elsewhere, another statue of him has been boarded up. Here, he's still standing. For how much longer do you think that's going to be the case?
Odessites, they are very caring about their city. So, and there are a lot of questions like what will be placed here, that the statue is really nice, it's like a historical.
You know, guys, Hitler died a long time ago, right? But Hitler died. But Hitlerism, the idea, has not died. I think Hitlerism lives in Putin. Putin is just a modern day Hitler. If he would get his way, because he's not going to get his way. But let's just say he would get his way. Let's just say he is able to do everything he wants to accomplish. His accomplishment is to not just take over Ukraine, but to enslave the citizens of Ukraine, oppress them, slave. Hitler wanted to invade. Hitler invaded a lot of countries and wanted to just take over. Hitler's aim wasn't just to kill all the Jews. Hitler's aim was to invade all of Europe and enslave them at the same time. So this is what Putin really wants to do. And if he would get his way, it would not. And I think the president, Zelensky, he said it. He said it's not going to end with Ukraine, and it's true. After Ukraine, he was going to go to Poland, then he's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to go somewhere else, maybe go to Germany, and just invade. And he would be all of Europe would be called Russia if it was up to Putin. And everybody else that's not pure Russian, everybody that's not pure Russian or whoever he doesn't want it to be, will be basically a modern day slave.
Memorial, but war can't have comfortable decisions.
Would you want to see this statue removed?
To be honest, I like it as a statue. I was grown up here, but I don't want to have anything connected with Russian culture and Russia itself.
This topic provokes heated debates here, and, right on cue, our interview was interrupted by a heckler who disagreed with Tatiana. Does he like Pushkin? Or is he...
Yes, of course.
He likes him?
Yes,
Right.
and he...
Это романс Якова Павловского.
But Josephine...
Yeah, why don't we ask... Yeah.
Okay.
If we interview him, then you can say his piece. And
Okay.
then So you are somebody who is very pro and proudly Ukrainian, but you have, let's say, a respect for Pushkin as a writer and as a Russian writer.
К культуре, которая настоящая, надо относиться с уважением. Тем более Пушкин Одессу прославил. Одесситы это понимают, но люди, которые хотят противостояния в Одессе, они хотят снять память.
What would you do if you saw people actually trying to physically remove this? How would you respond?
Но если это нужно для победы украинского
If this is unnecessary for the victim Ukrainian state, I would help.
государства, я бы
Necessary.
помогал.
Прямо вообще.
А
Despite of all the-
если
Despite
это-
everything.
а
Yes.
если это провокация?
You know, I want to know what you guys think about this. I think in a way he's right. He's half right, you know, because he said if this was necessary for the he's a proud Ukrainian. He's a patriot. But he said that cultures need to be treated with respect. I totally 1,000% agree with him. But it needs to be treated with respect. But communities need to be treated with respect. That's somebody else's community and another culture imposed on that community. So it becomes, it's like, there has to be a balance. Because, okay, I respect your culture, but you can't just impose the culture and bring it to my house and bring it to my community and impose it. So I guess I would need to learn a little bit deeper about this. Maybe you guys can tell me. But I like what he said. I kind of agree with him. Culture needs to be treated with respect.
This is another significant spot in the contest between Ukrainian and Russian identity in Odessa. We're on the Primorsky Steppes, but you may know them as the Potemkin Steppes. Why? Because in 1925, Sergei Eisenstein, the Soviet filmmaker, filmed one of the most famous sequences in modern cinema, right here. The scene he depicts of Tsarist soldiers massacring the Odessan population actually never happened. But it was such an iconic sequence in European cinema that for really a century, this became known as the Potemkin Steppes. But then, when Ukrainian independence finally happened in the 1990s, it was returned to its original name, the Primorsky Steppes, named after the man who was once governor of this beautiful city.
Wow, beautiful.
Music has become another stage on which the struggle for Ukraine's
That must be a gorgeous city. Wow, the way they're showing it. I don't know if they amplified it, but it gets my eyes watering. It looks so beautiful.
cultural identity plays out. I spoke to Hobart Earl, music director and principal conductor of the Odessa Philharmonic Orchestra. Born in Venezuela and of American descent, he speaks 7 languages and was named a People's Artist of Ukraine in recognition of his efforts for the country. Most notably, his use of music to galvanize international support and to sustain morale at home.
When the invasion happened, from that day on, there has not been a note of Russian music performed, not just by my orchestra, but by anyone here. And you got to understand, I mean, this is very raw for people. People are very, the country's been invaded. People are dying every day. People don't want to hear Russian music now.
Would you want to see, at the end of this war, a performance of a Russian composer as part of that process of recovery?
There's no question but that music is the language to cross borders and to unite people.
That is so right, guys. That is so, I got to rewind that again. That is so right, man. Music is everything. Music unites us. Music is like the platform of a culture itself. If there is no music, there is nothing. Like, music is life, guys. Music is life itself. Think about it. Music is life.
The language to cross borders and to unite people and to bring people closer. There's no question. But that's a tough one. because it's just like it's like Wagner in Israel, if you know what I mean. It's going to take time for people to. There are a lot of people in our audience who will just will not want to hear the music. There are others who will, but look, we're sitting in this concert hall here, which was damaged just a couple of months ago. We would always have thought of this as being one of the safest buildings in the city. We're in the center of a UNESCO World Heritage Site in this wonderful building, and the Hotel Bristol, 19th century building across the street, received a direct hit by a ballistic missile on January 31st. It blew those huge 125-year-old doors, the main door to the hall out there. The doors survived everything for 125 years, the Second World War, the Soviet Revolution, you name it. But the force of that wave was obviously so powerful as to just knock them off their hinges. And so, you know, it's a very tough subject.
The Ukrainian national anthem, adopted in the 1990s following the country's independence from the Soviet Union, sets the stage for this children's chess tournament, held underground to guard against the threat of air raids. Among the organisers was Malcolm Payne, the Telegraph's chess correspondent. Beyond supporting children here, Malcolm has worked on a broader stage, playing a pivotal role in ensuring that sanctions against Russian chess remain firmly in place.
Chess is incredibly important to Russians. It's more or less their most important sport.
As he answered my questions, Malcolm played simultaneous games against me and my colleague at the Telegraph, Dom Nichols.
We had to garner diplomatic support. Even the British embassies helped, American embassies helped, State Department weighed in, and Ukraine's Minister of Strategic Procurement. I must interrupt that story by saying Dom's just played pawn to h4. There's another move on the edge of the board, so I'm going to carry on with my central strategy. Very edgy. Bishop, you are edgy, Gom. Zelensky actually appointed Alexander Kamyshin as Minister of Strategic Procurement as President of the Ukrainian Chess Federation to give them a bit more political clout when they were fighting the Russians in international forums. Kamyshin turned up at the meetings in Budapest with the help of our embassies who lobbied, and with the help of the State Department who also worked on it. We managed to keep sanctions against Russian teams.
I was heading for a rather humiliating defeat, but I did have an excuse. This has been a pretty shoddy performance. I'm blaming the Odesan wine from last night. Okay, I think...
You're going to run.
You've just got to run for it. As much dignity as you can.
Knight to d5. Checkmate. Thank you.
Great game, Malcolm. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
When I get back to the hotel, I will recreate these games and send them to you.
Oh wow, that would be wonderful.
Really? You can remember every move we make?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, Malcolm, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure watching you beat Francis.
For more discussion on Ukrainian culture, listen to our daily podcast, Ukraine the Latest.
That was wonderful. Guys, sometimes we have to understand that from the moment we wake up and turn on the TV, turn on our cell phones, we're being brainwashed. And sometimes we are brainwashed into hating other people because of decisions that are made just from a couple people upstairs, a couple people on the top. You see, a leader makes a decision to go to war. He makes a decision for the whole country, and he instilled that hate and that homicidal tendencies into the soldiers. You have to go and you have to kill the Ukrainians. They are bad and they are this, which is the same thing Hitler did. He instilled that into everybody's head that the Jewish needed to be assassinated. And these are, you're killing people and you're hating people that you don't really know them personally. You just hate them because you are taught that way. You are taught to hate them. And that is crazy. That is something that sometimes we need to pay attention to. And sometimes, yes, they're bombings and they're killings, but these are decisions that come from the top, and because we are brainwashed to hate other people. Similar stuff is going on in my country. And sometimes we need to stop and think, and try to be smarter and not allow ourselves to be brainwashed. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this. Let me know about this. Let me know if I should learn more. What else should I know about the Battle of Odesa? This looks like a gorgeous city, guys. And of course, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the description. And any other videos that you guys want to recommend, please send me the link under this. Please send me the link in the comment. Peace. Love you, Ukraine. Peace, love, and God bless.